Everyone loves waterfalls, but how do they form?
How long do they last? Are there different types? How big do they have to get to be considered a waterfall? Why are there so many here in the Appalachian Mountains? And what can they tell us about Earth history? I'm back in the beautiful Blue Ridge Mountains, and today we're diving into the geology of waterfalls.
Well, let's start with the most basic question. What is a waterfall? Put simply, a waterfall is just a place where water flows over a vertical drop or a series of steep drops in a river or stream.
And to my surprise, there's no strict size requirement for something to be considered a waterfall.
And that means water flowing over a drop of just a few centimeters or feet in a small creek or river could technically be considered a waterfall.
But tiny waterfalls like this are also sometimes called a step or mini cascade. Actually, there are several types of waterfalls, and they're classified by how the water flows over the rocks. Plunge waterfalls drop vertically, losing contact with the rock. Horsetail waterfalls maintain some contact with the bedrock as they descend, which is true of a lot of these waterfalls that I'll show you. Cascade waterfalls flow over a series of steps. Tiered waterfalls have multiple distinct drops, like triple falls here. Fan waterfalls spread out horizontally as they fall, like white waterfalls and high falls. And the shape and type of waterfall often reflect the geology underneath, which brings us to...
But how do waterfalls form, and why are there so many here in the Blue Ridge Mountains?
Well, the first ingredient
is a wet climate with lots of rain. Check. And the second ingredient is a geological process called differential erosion, meaning that the river is flowing over rocks that erode at different rates. Here in the Appalachians, many rivers flow over hard, resistant metamorphic rocks like gneiss and quartzite,
and then hit softer, less resistant rocks like schist and phyllite. These softer rocks weather and erode faster, resulting in the formation of a sudden drop or vertical offset in the bedrock of the river that the water has to fall over.
Hence, waterfall.
But tectonics plays a role too. These mountains were uplifted hundreds of millions of years ago, which has set the stage for such widespread erosion by rivers carving and deepening their valleys. If you'd like to know more about how the Appalachian Mountains themselves formed, check out my previous video where I go back over 1 billion years in time, well, through rocks, not actually, to answer that exact question.
But something I didn't answer in that video is, how old are these waterfalls? Can we date a waterfall? Well, not precisely, but we can estimate ages based on
the age of the bedrock, how fast the waterfall is retreating as it erodes the softer rock behind it, and sediment dating of terrace surfaces, like the OSL or optically stimulated luminescence and cosmogenic methods that I talk about in my recent agricultural versus glacial erosion video, which I'll link down below in the description box if you're interested.
So to estimate the age of the waterfalls here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, let's consider these factors. Well, the first one, the age of the bedrock here, unfortunately doesn't help us much because this just provides an upper age limit for the waterfalls. And the bedrock here is up to, or sometimes even over, 1 billion years old.
So the best we can do with that information is say the waterfalls here are younger than 1 billion years old.
But the second and third factors, the rate of retreat and the sediment dating, could help us. Based on studies done on the waterfalls here that consider these factors, it's likely that they're tens to hundreds of thousands of years old.
So much younger than the mountains themselves, but pretty old on human timescales. Like all geological features, waterfalls are temporary. They don't last forever because they're always moving, migrating upstream as the falling water erodes the base. Eventually, a waterfall may become a gentle slope or disappear completely. But this can take millions of years, depending on water volume, sediment load, and rock type.
And now to the question I know you've wondered if you've ever visited a waterfall. Do these falls flow year-round? Well, like most things in science, it depends.
Many Appalachian waterfalls, especially the bigger ones, are perennial. They flow all year round because of consistent rainfall. But smaller ones can be seasonal. They may dry up in summer or fall during droughts, and some even only appear after heavy rain.
And fun fact, the Blue Ridge area gets over 80 inches or 200 centimeters of rain per year in some spots, rivaling rainforests like the Amazon. And now you might be wondering,
could we harness these constantly flowing waterfalls for energy?
And in theory, yes.
Waterfalls are natural sources of gravitational potential energy, and hydropower has been used in the Appalachians since the 1800s. But today, most large-scale hydropower comes from dams, not free-falling natural waterfalls.
Because protecting these falls for their ecological, recreational, and scenic value is now the priority in most of this region. Thank goodness. And now to the fun fact I know you've all been waiting for. What is the tallest waterfall in the Appalachians?
Well, that title goes to Crabtree Falls in Virginia, dropping nearly 1,200 feet or 350 meters through a series of cascades. And that's not to be confused with Crabtree Falls in North Carolina, which is only about 70 feet or 20 meters. Unfortunately, we're not in Virginia right now, so we can't see that one in person, but another contender is Whitewater Falls here in North Carolina, as it's often cited as being the tallest single drop waterfall in the eastern U.S., dropping about 411 feet or 125 meters.
And finally, to a question you might not be asking, but you should. What do waterfalls tell us about Earth history? Waterfalls give us clues about, one, tectonics.
Their presence often signals uplift or faulting.
2, rock types.
From resistant crystalline metamorphic rocks to eroded sedimentary or softer layers.
And 3, landscape evolution.
Showing where rivers have carved, retreated, and reshaped valleys over time. So next time you're standing in front of a waterfall, remember the incredible geologic story it represents.
Thanks for joining me and Suki to talk about the geology of waterfalls. Let me know in the comments what else you want me to talk about, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! I'm sorry, I can't go that far. Age of the bedrock unfortunately doesn't help us much because the bedrock here here, hold on. You good? Okay, I'm gonna just smile like it's a picture because there's people watching. What do you think, honey? Here.
It's okay if they just smell each other. That's enough. Oh, Alice, I'm so sorry. The sticks, they're going to kill somebody. I see a lot of black things now, so I don't know if maybe a bear or just some kind of bush.
It does look like a black bush.
There it goes.
That's good.
Oh, that's a cub. Where'd she go?
I don't know. That is something that big.
Oh, there's a baby cub. Oh my gosh, so cute.
That's scary how you can do something that big so fast.
Yeah, right? Oh, she's way up there.
Oh, yeah. She's going right on the path.
Wow.
I'm going to wait, but she's really hidden there.
She's heading right up there. Literally, if you walked all the way back around, you could see it right there. She's going right on the trail. That's going to be something.
Can I get to the other side? Yeah, Mama Cub don't.
She's on the path.
Mama Cub do not
Mama Cub is on the path.
play.